Think back to browsing the shelves of a giant electronics store for the newest gadget, or pushing a cart through what was once billed as the biggest supermarket on the planet. Plenty of retailers that used to define American shopping are gone now. Here's a look at 10 major chains that shut their doors for good. What ties these 10 companies together goes deeper than nostalgia. Almost every name on this list once ruled its category by inventing a shopping format nobody had tried before, whether that meant the giant box electronics floor, the discount five and dime aisle, or the neighborhood video rental counter. Retail history shows that being first rarely guarantees staying power. Shifting technology, changing shopper habits, and the rise of e-commerce giants forced even the most recognizable brands to either adapt quickly or fade into memory. Some names like Foot Locker and FYE survived by rebranding entirely, while others disappeared outright, leaving behind only their logos, jingles, and a wave of nostalgia for anyone who grew up shopping there.
Circuit City got its start in 1949 under the name Ward's Company, an electronics retailer that eventually built a reputation for sprawling, fully stocked showrooms. During the 1970s, it helped invent the electronic superstore model, reshaping how Americans bought gadgets. The business took the name Circuit City Stores Incorporated in 1984 and thrived for decades before financial trouble caught up with it, forcing a shutdown in 2009. At one point, Circuit City had the chance to acquire its much smaller rival Best Buy for a mere $30 million, a deal it turned down that might have completely rewritten the fortunes of both companies.
The Great Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company, better known as A&P, began humbly as a tea and coffee shop in New York City in 1859, launched by George Gilman and later grown by George Huntington Hartford. By pioneering the economy store idea in the early 1900s, A&P expanded fast, and by the 1930s, it stood as the largest retail chain on Earth, with roughly 15,000 locations nationwide. The company is credited with helping create the modern supermarket concept, forever changing how people bought groceries. Even so, after decades of dominance, A&P ran into serious trouble and shut its final store in 2015. At its height, A&P accounted for about 10% of all grocery spending in the country.
F.W. Woolworth Company, commonly called Woolworths, was famous for its five and dime stores, founded in 1879 by Frank Winfield Woolworth. His first shop, opened in Utica, New York, flopped. But the concept caught on once he tried again in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Woolworths introduced retail habits still common today, like letting shoppers browse and handle merchandise themselves. And by the mid-1900s, it ranked among the world's largest retail chains. Growing competition led to its decline in the 1980s, and the company eventually reinvented itself as Foot Locker Incorporated in 2001. The Woolworth Building, completed by the company in New York City in 1913, briefly held the title of tallest building in the world until 1930.
Sam Goody built a name for itself as a go-to music and entertainment retailer. Launched in 1951 as a modest record shop in New York City before expanding nationwide. Shoppers could find VHS tapes, DVDs, CDs, video games, and more on its shelves. After passing through several owners and hitting financial difficulty, the chain declared bankruptcy in 2006, and most locations were rebranded as FYE by new owner Trans World Entertainment. At its peak, Sam Goody ran more than 800 stores and was the country's largest music retailer.
Borders left a real mark on American bookselling, started in 1971 by brothers Tom and Louis Borders while they were still in college. What began as a single shop in Ann Arbor, Michigan, grew into a chain with hundreds of locations, known for a huge selection of titles and even international expansion. Many stores featured cafes run by Seattle's Best Coffee, turning them into gathering spots for book lovers. Despite that early momentum, Borders hit financial walls and filed for bankruptcy in 2011, ultimately liquidating everything as it lost ground to e-books and online sellers. Fry's Electronics sold everything from computers to kitchen appliances. Founded in 1985 in Sunnyvale, California by brothers John, Randy, and David Fry. The original store mixed electronics with groceries, and over time, the chain grew to 34 locations spanning 9 states, becoming a beloved destination for tech-minded shoppers. Fry's stores were also known for their elaborate, theatrically decorated interiors, drawing on historical and cultural motifs.
The pandemic and shifting retail trends brought the chain down for good, and it shuttered every location in February 2021.
Linens and Things specialized in home textiles, housewares, and decor, founded in 1958 by Eugene Wallace Kaufman as a small department inside a New Jersey discount store. It later grew into a sizable chain with hundreds of outlets across the US and Canada, built around affordable name-brand goods. After a private equity firm took over, heavy debt pushed the company into bankruptcy in 2008 and closed every store, though it was later revived as an online-only brand. One former store site was even repurposed as a filming location for Wes Anderson's 2011 movie, Moonrise Kingdom.
RadioShack traces back to 1921 in Boston, Massachusetts, starting as a small retail and mail-order operation for amateur radio hobbyists. Tandy Corporation bought the business in 1962 and turned it into a nationwide consumer electronics chain, with thousands of stores operating worldwide by 1999. Falling sales and heavy competition led to bankruptcy in 2015, and the brand has since scaled back to e-commerce and a small footprint of express stores. RadioShack once ran a Battery of the Month club, handing out free batteries to members to keep foot traffic coming through the door.
Toys R Us dates to 1948, founded by Charles Lazarus as a baby furniture shop before pivoting into toys in 1957. Over the decades, it became a giant in the toy business, recognized for its enormous selection and its backward-lettered R logo, meant to evoke childlike whimsy. The rise of online shopping and big-box discounters eventually caught up with it, leading to bankruptcy in 2017 and store closures across the US, UK, and Australia by 2018. The brand has since tried to bounce back, including opening small shops inside Macy's locations. Its Times Square flagship once housed an indoor Ferris wheel, making it a shopping destination in its own right. Blockbuster entered the scene in Dallas, Texas in 1985, founded by David Cook, and quickly ballooned from one location into a worldwide video and game rental chain. At its peak in the late 1990s and early 2000s, Blockbuster ran thousands of stores and had become a household fixture for movie night. The arrival of streaming services like Netflix put an end to that dominance. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2010 and had closed nearly all its locations by 2014. Today, the sole surviving Blockbuster, located in Bend, Oregon, has turned into something of a nostalgic tourist stop. Looking back at these 10 chains, a pattern emerges. Innovation without ongoing reinvention rarely lasts. Circuit City, Woolworths, and RadioShack were all once considered untouchable leaders in their fields, yet each was eventually outpaced by competitors willing to move faster or by shoppers whose habits shifted toward convenience and online browsing. Meanwhile, brands such as Toys R Us and Blockbuster show that a beloved name isn't enough to guarantee survival once a cheaper or more convenient alternative appears. Even so, several of these companies live on in some form, whether as a licensed brand, an online-only shop, or a single surviving location that fans now visit purely for the memories. Which of these stores do you miss the most? Let us know in the comments why it deserves a comeback. If this trip down memory lane hit you right in the nostalgia, smash that like button, share it with someone who remembers these stores too, and hit subscribe so you never miss the next blast from the past.